In this video, we'll explore timeless quotes from ancient Greek philosophers about women, their roles, and their virtues. From Socrates' wit to Hesiod's reflections, these quotes reveal the values and beliefs that shaped women's lives in ancient times. Join us as we dive into the wisdom and perspectives of these iconic thinkers. By all means, marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. Socrates' humorous remark reflects the challenges of marriage and the role it plays in personal growth. A good wife is equated with happiness, suggesting that a harmonious marriage can bring fulfillment and contentment to a man's life. Conversely, a bad wife leads a man to introspection and wisdom, as the difficulties force him to think deeply about life. This quote hints at the idea that adversity can be a source of intellectual development, turning life's hardships into opportunities for philosophical reflection. Socrates often used irony, and here he underscores the unpredictability of relationships and how they shape our emotional and intellectual lives. The humor also reveals a deeper truth, that marriage, whether good or bad, is a significant influence on one's character and understanding of the world. In essence, both outcomes, happiness or wisdom, are seen as valuable. A virtuous wife is a man's best possession. Euripides views a virtuous wife as the greatest asset a man can have, emphasizing the value placed on a woman's character in ancient Greek society. The term possession reflects the patriarchal mindset of the time, where women were often seen in terms of their role in relation to men. However, the focus on virtue shows that a wife's moral qualities, such as loyalty, wisdom, and modesty, were highly esteemed. A virtuous wife brought stability and harmony to the household, which was central to a man's happiness and success. Euripides, known for his nuanced portrayals of women, recognizes the importance of virtue over physical beauty or wealth. The quote highlights how women's roles were defined by their ability to support and enhance their husband's life. This sentiment reinforces the traditional view that women's value was largely measured by their contributions to the domestic sphere. Beauty in a woman is a rare treasure that will always be admired. Hesiod's quote speaks to the timeless appreciation of physical beauty, particularly in women, as something that captivates and is universally admired. In ancient Greece, beauty was often equated with divine favor, and women's beauty was seen as a reflection of both physical and moral perfection. However, the use of rare treasure suggests that such beauty is not common, making it all the more precious and sought after. While Hesiod acknowledges the allure of beauty, it also hints at the societal pressure on women to be aesthetically pleasing as a core part of their value. The idea of beauty being admired reflects the male gaze prevalent in ancient cultures, where women's worth was often measured by their appearance. Hesiod's emphasis on beauty reveals the cultural priorities of his time, but also points to the ephemeral nature of physical appearance. This admiration, while powerful, is also transient and subject to the aging process. The gods made women to temper the misfortune of men. Sophocles suggests that women were created by the gods as a balancing force, offering comfort and companionship in the face of life's hardships. In this view, women play a critical role in alleviating the burdens that men carry, providing emotional and practical support. The quote reflects the idea that women, though often viewed as inferior in ancient Greek society, were still seen as essential to the well-being of men. It also implies that life's difficulties are inevitable, but women are divinely intended to help mitigate those challenges. This perspective elevates the role of women to one of divine purpose, though still framed in a way that centers their value around serving men. Sophocles, known for his tragedies, may have also been pointing to the way relationships between men and women, while complex, are part of the divine plan for balance in human life. The quote emphasizes the complementary roles of men and women, albeit from a patriarchal perspective. The best woman is she who is least talked about among men, whether for good or for ill. Pericles' statement reflects the ancient Greek ideal that a woman's virtue is best demonstrated by her modesty and invisibility in the public sphere. In a society where women were largely confined to the domestic realm, being talked about in public, whether for praise or criticism, was seen as inappropriate. The ideal woman, according to Pericles, is one who remains out of the spotlight, focusing on her duties at home and maintaining a quiet, modest life. This reflects the broader cultural belief that a woman's primary role was in the household, and her reputation should be tied to her discretion and silence. By avoiding public attention, a woman preserved her dignity and the honor of her family. Pericles' view underscores the patriarchal values of ancient Greece, where women's behavior was tightly controlled, and their worth was linked to their ability to remain private and modest. This perspective reinforces traditional gender roles and the value of female silence. A woman's wisdom is her virtue. Her strength is her modesty. Hesiod places virtue and modesty at the core of a woman's value, suggesting that wisdom in women is expressed through moral purity and humility. In ancient Greek society, modesty was a prized trait for women, seen as a sign of respectability and good character. By framing wisdom as synonymous with virtue, Hesiod implies that women's intellectual and moral worth is demonstrated through their modest behavior rather than outspoken intelligence or ambition. This reinforces the idea that women's roles were primarily in the private, domestic sphere, where their wisdom was applied in managing the household and raising children. The focus on modesty also reflects the broader cultural expectation that women should be passive and self-restrained. Hesiod's view, while praising women's wisdom, ties it to traditional gender expectations, limiting the expression of female strength to quiet humility. This reveals the societal norms that restricted women's roles, but also acknowledged their influence within the confines of their prescribed duties. For a woman, modesty and chastity are her finest ornaments. Xenophon emphasizes that a woman's greatest virtues lie in her modesty and chastity, reflecting the cultural ideals of ancient Greece, where women's value was tied to their purity and conduct. Ornaments suggests that these traits were viewed as adornments that enhanced a woman's reputation and desirability. In this context, modesty and chastity were not just personal qualities, but social expectations that protected a woman's honor and that of her family. Xenophon's words reinforce the notion that a woman's behavior, particularly in regard to her sexuality, was of paramount importance in maintaining social order. The quote also implies that these virtues were seen as passive, external qualities, further emphasizing the idea that women's worth was measured by how they presented themselves to society. Xenophon reflects the deeply patriarchal values of his time, where a woman's role was to embody these virtues and ensure the integrity of her family. A woman's reputation for virtue is her highest honor. Euripides highlights the central importance of a woman's reputation for virtue in ancient Greek society. In a culture where a woman's worth was largely determined by her moral character, maintaining a good reputation was essential to her honor and that of her family. This quote underscores the pressure on women to adhere to strict social norms, especially regarding modesty, fidelity, and obedience. A woman's reputation was not just a personal matter, but a reflection of her family's standing in the community. For Euripides, this reputation for virtue was more important than wealth, beauty, or status, as it defined her social identity. The focus on reputation also reveals the fragility of a woman's social position, as her honor could be easily tarnished by rumors or misconduct. Euripides' perspective reflects the broader patriarchal values of the time, where women's lives were closely monitored and judged based on their adherence to societal expectations. A good wife is the foundation of a man's happiness. Hesiod suggests that a man's happiness and success in life are deeply tied to the character of his wife. A good wife is portrayed as the bedrock of a stable and prosperous household, indicating that women's roles, though largely confined to domestic responsibilities, were seen as crucial to a man's well-being. The foundation metaphor highlights the importance of a supportive and virtuous partner in maintaining harmony and order in the home. In this view, a wife's loyalty, wisdom, and care enable her husband to thrive, both emotionally and practically. Hesiod's emphasis on the wife's role reflects the broader cultural belief that women were responsible for creating a nurturing environment that allowed men to focus on external affairs. The quote reinforces traditional gender roles, where a woman's value is measured by her ability to contribute to her husband's success and happiness. It underscores the idea that women, while often seen as subordinate, were indispensable to the functioning of the household. Women, like men, have been made by the gods, but their purpose in life is different: to nurture life and maintain order within the household. Hesiod acknowledges that women, like men, are creations of the gods, but he assigns them a distinct role in society. This quote reflects the belief that while men and women are equally divine in origin, their functions in life are fundamentally different. For women, their purpose is primarily centered around nurturing and maintaining the home, tasks considered essential for the survival and stability of society. Hesiod's view aligns with the traditional gender roles of ancient Greece, where women were expected to manage the household and raise children, while men engaged in public life. The emphasis on nurturing life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed exploring these powerful quotes from ancient Greek philosophers, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on new uploads. Let's continue learning and growing together.